All right, so now we're in part five, and part five is now where we have to calculate the width. So we need to calculate the width for a histogram that has 8 classes. And so that would be K low with 8, which means we need to calculate a W low, okay, the width of each class if there were 8. And then we need to calculate the width of each class if there were 16 classes. All right, so that's what we're being prompted for there. Um, if your value of W is greater than 0.9, then you can just simply round up to the next integer. If your width is less than 0.9, okay, then we have to do like this special rounding rule that I've got here. But let's go back to the report guide. Let me show you where we are on the flowchart. So here we calculated our values of K previously. Then we rounded down the smallest one, rounded up the highest one, and the lowest one became K low. The highest one became K high. And so we're going to use this formula here, this equation, to calculate the width of each class for the lowest number of classes. And this is where the range comes in. So we calculated the range in a previous step. So we're going to use this here. And then the same equation, but now we're going to be using the higher number of classes and dividing that into our range that we got previously. And then based off of the value of width that you got, you'll either just round it up to the next integer, or if it's less than 0.9, then you're going to have this special rounding condition. So that's kind of where we are here on the flowchart. And this is where we are here in this worksheet. So K low was 8. So, I mean, I know it's right up above, but I just kind of put that in here. All right, so what we need to calculate, let me put insert equation. So that would be W low is equal to, put in a fraction, so that would be the range divided by K low, like that. And let me take this row and left justify it. All right, so there's 1. And let me copy that. No, I don't need to. All right, let me hit tab a couple times to get this on that side, and I'll just insert another equation. And then this will be W high. That's equal to a fraction with range in the numerator, K high in the denominator. Okay, so you're probably doing this by hand. Okay, I'm typing it in, which is a little more work for me, but I'm also showing you how you can put mathematical equations in a Word document. So the range was calculated earlier, and so for me, that was in step 2. That's 149.1. So here I'm going to put 149.1, and that is in both equations here. That. And the lowest number of classes was 8. And the highest number of classes over here was 16. So, all right, so we're going to have a value of W low. And we're going to have a value of W high that we're going to calculate. Okay, but we use the spreadsheet software to calculate this. All right, so speaking of which, let's flip back over to our spreadsheet. And W low is equal to the range divided by the lowest number of classes. W high is equal to the range divided by the high number of classes. So again, you know, the spreadsheet is counting this as text because I'm not starting it with an equal sign. So I can kind of type whatever I want. And for your benefit, I'm putting in kind of like the equation that we're using to calculate the widths. Okay. So the width for the low number of classes is going to be equal to the range divided by, so I'm putting a forward slash k low, which is this number. I'll hit enter. And then I'll go ahead and calculate the width for the higher number of classes. That's going to be equals the range divided by k high, which is this number. And then I'll hit enter. Okay. So let me take this value of W low, I'll copy that, and I'm going to bring it over here. Now I'm going to paste this as text or plain text. Okay, so I won't screw up any of my formatting. And then let me take this value of W high from the spreadsheet, which is right here. I'll copy that, bring that over here, and let me paste that just as plain text. Okay, so now we need to kind of apply this rule. If the value of W that we calculated is greater than 0.9, greater than or equal to 0.9, then we just round up to the next integer. So 18.6, this is clearly greater than 0.9. It's greater than 1. So I'm just going to round that up to 19. Okay. And this value here, which is 9.31875, 9.3 is greater than 0.9. So the rule is you round it up to the next integer. So even though we're kind of breaking your traditional rounding rules, what I want you to do is I want you to round it up no matter what. So we're going to round up 9.3. We're going to round that up to 10. Okay, like that. And, we can do the same thing by coming over here to our spreadsheet software. And let me go W low and W high. I remember the rounding up function that was ceiling. So I want to do the ceiling for this value. Enter. And then equals, I want to do the ceiling for this value, which should be 10. Yep, 19 and 10. So now we'll come over to My Open Math. And my value of W low was 19. My value for W high was 10. And now I'll hit submit. And if it likes it, we'll know here in a minute. There we go. So it accepted this value of 19 and this value of 10 based off all the calculations we've done previously. Now that lets us go to part 6. All right. So I think this is a good place to stop. Let me know if you have any questions.